Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having a good start to your, midday afternoon, right? So I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that we're going to be looking at. For those that are tuning in for the first time, one of the things that, so we have Ishmael right here that's going to be helping us moderate the chat. But one of the things that I wanted to cover today is ensure that you guys know like the purpose of like the Sunday stock talk, right? So we're going to be pretty much just talking about the top stocks that you guys see value in. All I really ask you to do is to post it in the ticker call out format. So let's go ahead and again, I'm using the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. So let's go ahead and get this going. I'm just gonna say what's up to everyone. So it's been a while, right, since Friday. Not sure if you guys saw, but Friday was pretty easy day when it came down to trading. It doesn't always work out like that for me. I would say altogether last week with my huge day of $4,300 profit, and then the day that followed at the $1,000 within like 30 minutes. I had a lot of fun. It again is not always like that. Some weeks I even struggle or don't even hit my weekly goal. So you win some, you lose some. Altogether, I felt like last week, just recapping that very quickly, the direction, there's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of movement with, what was selling off, what was recovering. And because of that, I simply focused on direction, making sure that the margin of profit was worth it, and then pursuing that. So we'll see if it follows this week. Looking at these different, looking at the futures right now and how natural gas is trading. Not too sure if you guys could see, but natural gas is actually up. So if it continues to hold, then we'll most likely see natural gas follow as well with a green day tomorrow. But I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. I just wanted to talk about maybe general stocks that we don't talk about too often and simply kind of like share my opinion based off of that. So let's go ahead and get started. What's going on, Zach? What's up? What's up? Ryan Wong is saying, Ricky, your videos are the best and so informative. I'm going to start trading with real soon, strategies, and then talk to you about it. Sounds good. Whenever it is that you're ready. What is going on, Jason? What's up? What's up? You guys don't have to donate, but I appreciate it. Hope you guys are all having a good Sunday. So let's start breaking down these series of different stocks. We're going to start off with John, posting it in the ticker call out format. So that's going to be ticker symbol PLAY. So PLAY, here we go. Doing this on the 180-day analysis. One of the things, and again, I like to keep things super simple. PLAY is showing signs of an uptrend. This is Dave & Buster's, so at least for me, I grew up in California, so I'm very familiar with the company itself. On the technical side, again, this thing was showing signs of a downward pattern. I like to focus on direction. So it was making lower lows and lower highs. It wasn't until recently, because of its dividends payouts or maybe because of its earnings, that what's one thing that you notice right here. So looking at previous patterns for ticker symbol play, what's three things? What's three things that you can point out, both pros and cons, about ticker symbol PLAY? What do you guys see? What's going on, Caesar? RSI is high, overbought, oversold. Appreciate that, Rodrigo. Okay, so you're correct. Volume. Look at the volume and how much it increased. And look at the average volume, right? The volume is so much higher right now. And it's because of the news, right? And because of its earnings and being that much more relevant. What normally happens when the volume then begins to die out? We most likely will see ticker symbol play correct itself and begin to pull back. Just talking about that and then asking ourselves, again, we understand that some news recently came out or that's driving the price up. So it's very relevant right now. That's not going to last forever. The second thing is this the best deal that I can take advantage of right now? No. Looking at previous patterns, it was a descending pattern, and looking at the difference, it's already up 20% in 2-3 weeks. So with that being said, it just makes it a little bit easier for me to understand that if I want to treat this day by day and treat it as a day trade because I see the margin of profit to be worth it, great. If it continues to uptrend, then like we say, all power to you. But other than that, would I consider swing trading this or really watching it because it's an amazing deal? No. And as it approaches around $56 to $58, we could see based off previous patterns, this is a previous resistance level, which it makes sense on why it can begin to sell off, especially with all the different factors of volume, its relevance, and then how overbought it is and stuff like that. You could see this with the MACD, you could see this with the RSI. Just wanted to kind of get into detail on kind of just how I'm able to make sense of like, is this something that I want to watch, or is this something that I should probably, set my alerts for maybe when it pulls back to get for a better deal, making it that much easier, right? To ensure that the margin on profit is worth it. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. What's going on, Brian? Ticker, let's see. ATNX. All right. Here we go. So it's showing signs of a downward pattern and then really just consolidating right here. So because of that, I wouldn't necessarily be too interested in that as of right now. One of the biggest things for me is, again, direction. The direction is not clear. There's a lot of consolidation going on, and its overall direction is trending down. So because of that, I would personally stay away. Yes, it did sell off, and yes, it can uptrend, but there's a whole another kind of like layer of risk that's added to the formula when you're trading something that's continuously trending down. So just want to make sure that that's apparent to you guys. How does it?
The SMA question?
Yeah, the SMA question is the length of my SMA. So you could see the different setups. I have a video that shows like how the different indicators are set up and stuff like that. What's going on, Elbow Gang? Ticker symbol SNAP. There we go. Okay, what do you guys think about ticker symbol SNAP? SNAP. This is Snapchat. What do you guys think? It was a continuous downward pattern and then began to uptrend, right? Overbought, overextended. I'm actually really surprised. We talked about this one or 2 weeks ago when it was really consolidating. It's definitely pushed up. I had an amazing day on Friday. What do you guys think? Is this something that, can you make money off of this? So this is a trick question. Can you make money off of trading Snapchat? Can you make money?
Yes.
Off of Snapchat? Yes, you can make money off anything, right? Would it make sense? No, on the technical standpoint, and just looking at the general direction and pattern, would it make sense that is if you're given 3 day trades out of a 5-day period, would it make sense to have Snapchat be one of those day trades because it's so worth it? No, I see it to be overbought, overextended, not so much of a good deal. And yes, it can continue to uptrend, but it would almost make more sense because of how this thing trades, right? And moves and pushes up and then pulls back and corrects itself. It's not a good deal. It's overbought, it's overextended. Yes, it's uptrending, but maybe waiting a little bit more and catching it for a pullback would make a little bit more sense. So again, Snapchat, yes, it is uptrending, and yes, you can take it day by day if you think the margin of profit is worth it. But ultimately, I just don't see this to be the best deal that you can get as of now. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Ricky G, H-U-Y-A, here we go. Okay. You good over there, Jess? Here we go. What I see here is signs of a horizontal pattern. So it was showing signs of an active uptrend. It was downtrending altogether, began to consolidate, and then began to make higher highs. And then now it's kind of just consolidating right here. So overall low points are around $25, overall high points right around $30. I see why you're watching it. I definitely see why you're watching it. The SMA line is still pointing up, and just like it did last time, right, it makes sense on how does this thing, 3 stages of a reversal. So how does this thing normally trade, right? It peaks out, so it pushes up, it peaks out, begins to consolidate, no longer makes higher highs. That's signs of a resistance. It'll then begin to sell off, break below the EMA line. So the sell-off is the rejection, right? It will then find a support, begin to consolidate, and then guess what? It will begin to uptrend. So that's ultimately the same pattern that we would like to wait for when HUYA, if it begins to uptrend. So what I'll do is I'll simply set my alerts. We could follow up with it. It makes sense. But just one thing that I want to point out is, again, it's not something that's actively uptrending anymore. It's kind of just consolidating. So let's make sure that we are not like, okay, well, I'm only going to sell at $30 or I'm going to sell at $31 because that's where it's hit before. Let's understand that, it's been consolidating for some time. So the potential for this thing to break its support is that much greater. So let's not be afraid to lock in profits at any sign of a resistance. GES. Yeah, we talked about this one for quite some time. As of right now, it's still at its general support. It pushed up and then sold off as the market began to sell off, right? So we can set our alerts back again. Again, a huge focus of mine is direction and making sure that we're trading, or if you're going in for like a swing trade, that you're at least investing in something that's showing signs of an uptrend. So let's just make sure that we wait out for that direction. And yeah, just a friendly reminder, all these people posting this in the ticker, just the tickers, I won't be breaking down your stocks. I need you to post it in the ticker call out format. What's going on, Darwin? What's up? What's up? Hope your Sunday is going well. IIPR. Here we go. Nice little uptrend right here. Overall SMA line. I like this one. This has to be probably one of my favorite ones. So IIPR. I'll add that one to my list. Here we go. So I like the overall direction. It's an uptrend pattern. It makes it that much easier for you to be able to sell for a profit, especially if you're someone that's new. The direction is in your favor. It doesn't mean that it's going to have to happen. But when something is continuously making, the higher highs as you see here and higher lows, it's bound to most likely, if the pattern continues, to end up breaking whatever it is that you ended up purchasing at. And especially because newer traders maybe struggle to enter at effective price points. So what I'm gonna do here is set the alert, boom, boom, boom. One thing that I would like to point out is, again, just looking at the times that it's reversed. How does it normally reverse? So as it sells off, does it push up and then pull back, correct itself, and then continue to uptrend? So don't just think that because, again, it pushed up above the EMA line, that it's just going to skyrocket back to $95, right? Looking at the current price point, looking at where it's at, margin of profit is over 10% based off previous patterns. I would say most likely the resistance would be right around $90 and not so much 95. Playing it a little bit more on the safer side. So the margin is still decent. It's making higher highs. Just watch out for the RSI, watch out for the MACD, and just make sure that that continuous uptrend pattern continues. And I would still, in my opinion, approach it with like the average up approach, or at least that's how I would do it. So here we go. Ticker symbol DRIP. What's going on, Nathan? What's up? What's up? DRIP showing signs of a downtrend pattern. This would not be something that I would try to partake in as of right now. Yeah, it sold off a decent amount on Friday, 10%. And I would, if anything, if it begins to maybe show signs of a reversal, maybe pay attention to that. But other than that, I wouldn't even, the direction is not clear. When something is aggressively selling off, okay, then drip is pushing up. We're kind of just consolidating. So if you're okay with scalping it like that, great. But just know that you have to get in and get out pretty quickly. And you just have to ask yourself, are you in a position to be able to do that? So looking at previous patterns and looking at previous highs, yes, I could see why Gush is at resistance and Drip might be at support, but again, the direction just isn't super clear. Let's see, PSTG. There we go. Nice little uptrend. So a pretty aggressive sell-off overall. As of right now, the SMA line is pointing up, making higher highs, making higher lows. Not a good deal. So I want to find some good ones. Let's see. What's going on, Sergio? What's up? What's up? EA. What's going on, Paul? Alrighty. EA is selling off pretty aggressively and then recently changed its direction. So I could see why it is that you're calling this one out. Overall, SMA line is still pointing up. Consolidation looks like it's trying to bounce off this SMA line, although it is still downtrending. So what should we wait out for? One thing that I would kind of want to pay attention to is if this pattern continues, is for this thing to make higher highs and break above that EMA line. ACB, what's going on, Liam? Thank you again for tuning in. I feel like we're going through these pretty quickly. Okay, yeah, I know Aurora. I'm not a huge fan of marijuana companies. I think that it has a lot to do with manipulation, marketing, and then just, on the technical side, it looks like from when it peaked out, it's right now just trying to find the support around this general area. It looks like it's trying to find the support right around a little bit above 850, resistance right around 950. I mean, the margins in there are huge. Just the volatility, I'm sure, is crazy. Let's go on the 1 day, 1 minute chart and check this out. And the volume is not even that great. So let's check this out. Yeah, so looks like a lot of its movement happens during pre-market hours. Probably not something that all of you guys have access to trading. So I'll just set my alert. I just want to make sure that the direction is a little bit clear, just to make sure that we have that playing in our favor, right? So cut this off and then go from there. VXXB. What's going on, John? Strong downward pattern. No signs of an uptrend. Looks like the overall SMA line is acting as a resistance, but it looks like after this aggressive sell-off, it has not been recovering ever since, and there's no change or indication of a potential bounce. We can set an alert for the sake of it, but there's no reason that I would want to take a position on this. There's no indication of an uptrend. Let's do 3 more. I want to make sure that we get some good ones. What's going on, Jason? Thank you again for tuning in. I think I saw your call out a little bit earlier. Apologize that it took so long. What do you guys think about LABU? So showing signs of a downtrend pattern. It began to uptrend. Overall highs right around 66.70, right? Based off previous patterns. So we are a little bit at, the overbought area. Is this going to pull back, right? Or is this thing going to continue to uptrend? So looks like it's been doing a good job the past couple of days. But again, just looking at previous patterns, just want to make sure that we point out the obvious, right? That it's a little bit more on the not such a good deal side, however it is that you want to call it, right? So I can set my alerts. We can wait for a pullback and maybe pay a little bit of attention to its inverse ETF, which is LABD, if you begin to see LABU begin to sell off. So what's going on, Vic? What's up? What's up? What's going on, Samad Azul? Let's do that. Here we go. So we're getting a lot of consolidation. It was showing signs of an uptrend, but then it really began to consolidate. And now we're beginning to break below the SMA line, which is not something that it would regularly do. So I'd be very this would be something that's almost changing its overall direction. So just be very careful about holding something like that. So let's just make sure that a huge focus that we have for this week, it's going to be the last week for our $1,000 challenge for our Learn Plan Profit members, or the $100 challenge for the TechBud members from the very beginning. And this is something that happens all the time. I announced it 3 weeks ago. So this is going to be the last week. From the amount of people, right? We got hundreds of messages of people that wanted to participate in the $1,000 challenge and the $100 challenge. Can you guys guess how many people are still following up with us on a weekly basis? What would you say? Just, what would you say the amount of people that we have?
30%, maybe.
And this, the reason that I'm bringing this up is how important it is, for a person to be disciplined, right? If you're gonna partake in something and learning about a new market, consistency is key. I think one of the biggest areas of opportunity for a lot of the people that I know is just being consistent in whatever it is that they're trying to pursue. I think we can all admit there's something always in someone's life where maybe needs a little bit of work, and it's because you're so inconsistent in that area that it never gets better, right? So if you really want to continue to get better when it comes to trading, again, my challenge has nothing to do with your overall success in whatever it is that you choose to pursue, but I think it could be viewed as a representation of how disciplined you are. So I just wanted to remind you, I wanted to first thank all those that are still following up with us on a weekly basis. You guys are holding yourself accountable and being self-sufficient, which is, I think, one of the most important and one of the best, best practices that someone can have. So let's see. How was that get together? It was good. Right, Ish?
I had a good time. You, Justin?
Great time.
NFX. What's going on, Paul? NFX overall downtrend. Yeah, looks like it had a really nice recent spike due to volume, but yeah, overall direction just not. This is not something that's if you were to start, with Robinhood, I think Robinhood is a perfect representation. If you were to see someone's 1 year, kind of home screen, right, of their overall progression, and they want to trade your money, and this is how it looks like, a down pattern. Would you want to invest in that? No. Then why would you want to trade something that follows a very similar pattern, right? So we're here to grow our accounts. Let's just make sure that the patterns that we choose to trade are also showing signs of growth. So ticker symbol Roku. What's going on, Javier? All right, so a lot of consolidation. We're finding a support here based off previous patterns around this general area of $60 to 60, what is that, 3 overall support, $70 previous resistance. So yeah, I like it, not bad. Just be very careful. It's getting very close to that SMA line. Just be very careful for a potential break of pattern. What's going on, Papa? What is it? All right, here we go. Hey, what's going on, Nate? What's up? What's up? YRIV. Strong downward pattern. Yeah, not something that I would want to partake in. Hey, what's going on, James? What's up? What's up? Let me see them ticker call out formats. Let's see, GEN. What's going on, James? Direction is definitely not clear on this. Holy moly. This thing looks like it's just consolidating. So I'm going to set my alert. Lower cap stock as well. I hope you guys know, again, we talk about it all the time. I don't personally trade penny stocks. It doesn't mean that you can't. Just lower cap stocks, the volatility and the overall risk, in my opinion, is that much greater. So just be very aware of that, of like, just because I don't trade it doesn't mean that you can't. There's just a reason behind why I decide not to. So just want to make sure that that's clear. This one's not that bad. This is Levi's from its initial like IPO. Let's see where this is at. Here we go. So it looks like it's from when it began to pull back, it caught a support right around. Actually, this one's really interesting. There's not enough data to really like make the most sound like trade decision, but like based off of previous lows, if it does find this to be a support and then begins to make higher highs, looking at the 20-day analysis and look at the overall highs, again, this is kind of when it was like peaking out, but let's say even to around like 23, around this general price point. From where it's at right now, 22 to highs of this, 5.5%, not bad. I want to follow up with Tesla. How'd that do? Okay, had a nice little recovery on Friday, 3%, after it sold off, if I'm not mistaken, like 8 to 9%. So that's pretty crazy. Let's see it. Ticker symbol JNUG. All right. Right, so it looks like it has somewhat of a cup and handle pattern, right? So I'm going to set my alert for the change of direction at 995. Definitely looks like it's making higher highs, higher lows. The MACD looks overextended, but so does the RSI. So just make sure that you're aware of that. Looking at /GC. Okay, makes it a little bit more clear. So it looks like it's actually up. So JNUG should open up green, but overall it looks like the SMA line, do you see this? The SMA line, it was showing signs of a support. This green line was acting as a support here when it was indicating signs of an uptrend, but as the pattern overall stopped making higher highs and higher lows, it then began to consolidate. The SMA line began to curl and is now acting as a resistance. So if anything, as this thing pushes up, just like we see it with Tesla, we will most likely see it act as a resistance where, when every time it pushes up, gets rejected, pushes up, gets rejected. So let's just make sure that we're aware of that. Ricky, what is the length of your EMA? It is set at the length of 15. Ticker symbol AMD. What's going on, Zaid? All right, so I think this is going to be the last one, and then we can go from here. So I think this one's a good one to end it on, as in why it's very clear that based off of like technicals and previous patterns, there's a lot of consolidation going on right now. It was showing sign of an uptrend, spiked up very quickly, began to find a resistance right around $29 to $30, right? You see this range right here. It's no longer making higher highs. It's showing signs of a peak formation. Look at the RSI, look at the MACD, and then it makes sense on why it would begin to sell off. So again, when it comes down to making the decision, is this something that I want to swing trade? Is this something that I want to day trade? Why would this be something, looking at previous patterns, why not wait for it to get to this point right here where it sells off, it consolidates, and then begins to make higher highs? I find that to be so much more attractive. The direction is in your favor. It has a nice little margin of profit right here. The margin wouldn't be as great. The margin for loss is obviously a lot greater, and it's not so much of a good deal as of right now. So we're going to end it there, but I wanted to see if I could answer any open-ended questions for you guys. So any open-ended questions, feel free to send them over. So we did the ticker call-up breakdowns, so any open-ended questions. So Ricky, who is your inspiration? I have a lot of people who I would look up to. I've talked about it before. So in the mornings, right, I go live with the Learn Plan Profit group, and that's a question that I get pretty often. I found myself to focus a lot on CEOs or founders of companies that I really looked up to, or just general investors and stuff like that. So Warren Buffett, obviously, it's not that I loved everything it is that they do or that they did. But my biggest thing is, I've talked about it multiple times. It's like when I work, right, and with the Learn Plan Profit members or with any technical solution member that's asking for assistance, I'm not here to try to replicate, right? My goal is never to try to be like, let's say for Ish, for example, right? My goal for Ish, as he wants to begin trading and stuff like that, my goal is not to have him trade exactly like me. That's never the goal. But for him to maybe pick on a series of best practices that make sense and that resonate well with him. And then with that, he can cherry pick the qualities that he likes that I implement on a day-to-day basis. And then he also begins to,
I'm just kidding.
and then he cherry picks a series of best practices from other people that he looks up to that do well. And then with the different, cherries that you end up picking and the different best practices that you pick up on, then you get to create your own little unique, trading style. And in the sense of being a trader and stuff like that. So, you don't rely solely on one and each other. Yep. So no, it all depends. I mean, there's never one indicator that I solely focus on. I really like to focus and pay attention to, the EMA line and the SMA line. But ultimately, there's always There's always a huge. Sorry, I got a little distracted. But there's always a series of different stocks that react differently to a series of different indicators. So my biggest focus would be well, what indicators are working well with this specific stock? And I would focus on that because for every stock, it's different. So do you have a swing trade that you're looking at as of right now? I do not, right? Do you put in orders before or after the market opens? Of course, I sometimes trade during pre-market hours. I sometimes trade, I know I saw that. Sometimes trade after market hours. My biggest thing is, and now again, a very common question that I get is, Ricky, how many positions do you take every day? My biggest focus is, I don't care if it's pre-market hours, I don't care if it's during market hours or after market hours. My biggest focus is, when is that deal presenting itself? The thing that I like to focus on is, when it comes down to investing or trading in the stock market, investing in real estate or investing in cars, I will literally buy or invest in anything when the opportunity presents itself, but it needs to be present. So again, my biggest focus is opportunity, not necessarily I want to trade 5 times every day or 1 time every day. It's I'll trade when it makes sense to take that position. Let's see, what? All right. Let's see. I'm not seeing many questions.
They're laughing because I was going to take this down and I kind of ripped it a little bit.
Just take it down.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Let's see. I see, okay. So yo, Rick, you motivated me to get into stocks, and now I work at Merrill Lynch. Wow, that's super cool. Congratulations. Well, that's all your hard work paying off, so happy I was able to at least maybe be a nice little spark. What's your daily routine? So I start my morning every single day meditating for 15 minutes. No, I wake up and
I was going to say, I did not know that. Whoa, where did that come from?
I was like, I start my mornings every day meditating for 15 minutes, eating a bowl of oatmeal with a nice little cup of coffee. I shower for 10 minutes. And then after I get out of my 10-minute shower, I meditate for another 30 minutes. And no, I literally wake up, I'll go brush my teeth, and I'll grab a cup of water, and then I'll go live with the Learn Plan Profit group. So, there's nothing special. I actually thought about making a funny video because you guys have to understand that, especially my Instagram. YouTube, you guys know me a lot better than I think people on Instagram do. On Instagram, I literally post highlights of my life, as in super fun stuff that I get to do. I'm super blessed, super thankful, and great, but and people, it can rub people off the wrong way. But I wanted to make kind of this type of video where it shows that parts of anyone's life, right, especially that they post on social media, can be viewed as extremely just enjoyable and stuff like that, but literally sometimes all we do is just work, and it's super boring. And it's I just want to make sure that you guys are aware that whatever it is I post and stuff like that, that you guys are aware that those are highlights of my life. Just like if you guys were to post highlights of your life and someone else would see that, like, wow, you guys are always, having a great time, always doing something fun. That's not the case, not always, right? But if I posted a bunch of, videos or pictures of the low point of my life, probably wouldn't get as many likes or positive feedback, it's I think a strong focus in inspiring people, but also just making sure that we keep it real with that. It's that they're highlights. Alrighty, but I just wanted to thank you guys again for your time. Looks like let's see. So how do you manage to hold up? Okay, I think it's different for everyone. When things get tough for me, like I have a really great team that I think that's also a great part of being a part of a community. And I swear, like I don't want to overhype these guys, but like I know when. Okay. But
choice of words.
Wow.
It's true though. Like anytime that I'm down or that maybe they're down, regardless of what the case is, we're a team and we're here to hold one another accountable. So it's anytime that I'm down, I'm sick or whatever the case may be, we're just having a rough day. They're here to remind me, you're there to carry me up, right, to make sure that we get our work done, and vice versa. Anytime that I see that, hey, Ismail's slacking, or Michael is slacking, or Caleb, Weston, or Justin, trust me, they know that I'll make it very apparent that they're not doing anything that needs to change. But like we're all here to like have fun and do well for ourselves, but also when it comes down to it, we're a team, and we need to make sure that we get our work done and that we put in the time to make it right. So how did you keep that was probably one of the roughest times. So like how did I keep up before you had your team? I was working like a dog. It was just me that did everything, so it was very unenjoyable, and now I have so much more fun spending time with my friends and also working and stuff like that. So just again, we'll leave it at that. But I want to thank you guys again for your time. Really looking forward to the people that joined Learn, Plan, Profit for the first time over the weekend. I think that not only the content that you're catching up on, but being able to watch me trade live, for those that are going to be able to if you guys want, just to I just want to make sure that everyone that gets set up in Learn, Plan, Profit that over the weekend, that you guys are aware of. At Market Open, I trade live every morning. I want to make sure that you know how to get linked up to that. So if you didn't watch the second video in the course, it explains to you exactly how to get connected. Feel free to shoot me a direct message and we'll help you out. I just want to make sure that you guys are all set up with that, and then we can kind of go from there. But if you have any questions about how to tune in to the Learn, Plan, Profit live streams, just shoot me a DM. So I'm really excited. Hopefully we can have another amazing and successful week. Let's keep it consistent. Let's lock in those profits. I think the past month of my trades have been one of the most consistent. It's not like they've been the biggest this week, and then Thursday obviously had a huge day. But ultimately, I see with my time management now, I'm trading with a little bit more now, right? And also with just my time management, I can almost sometimes finish trading within 1 hour. And it's just been super enjoyable because I had to spend the rest of my time responding to messages through Learn, Plan, Profit, right, for our members and stuff like that. But also, if you guys have any questions about the Learn, Plan, Profit course, feel free to shoot me a direct message or comment down below. Or you can message me on Instagram, which is also linked down below. So all the accounts that I have, they're all linked down below. If they're not linked down below, again, I want to remind you, I never reach out to you. So I just want to make sure that's super apparent because there's a bunch of fake accounts out there. So thank you guys again so much for your time. Hope you guys have an absolute amazing rest of your Sunday. Continue working hard, continue following dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note.